Hi guys, here with your maths for today. So we're going to look at how we convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. Now, this might seem slightly confusing because last lesson we were converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. It's important that we understand that there's a relationship between the two. So we're going to do the inverse. We're going to do the opposite. So first things first, let's see what we remember from last lesson. Can you convert the improper fraction to a mixed number? Pause the video here and have a go at this. How did we get on? So what we need to look at is how many fractions we've got. So we need to try and establish our denominator. So we'll look at the bar. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's just double check that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our bars are cut into 6. That's going to be my denominator. So I know I've got 6 full in this row. So I've got 6 out of 6 on this row. I've got 6 sixths on this row. We've got 6 sixths on this row. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sixths on this row. So in total, I have got 6 plus 6. So let's write this down as we go. I've got 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 5. So that gives me the total number of sixths I've got. So I've got 6, 12, 18 plus 5 gives me 23. So I've got 23 sixths. I can use my bars here to work out how many whole parts I've got. I can see I've got 6 sixths in 3 of my bars. So that gives me 3. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 6 on the bottom one. So I can write it like this. Now there's another way of working this out as well, which we touched on during our live session. So we can do as well 23 divided by 6. It'll give us the same answer. So I can't divide 2, but I can divide 23. So that'll give me my 3 with a remainder of 5. So they all work out the same way through. So there you go. That's how we can convert the improper fraction to a mixed number. So moving forward, can you write these fractions on the screen as an improper fraction? So question 1. Question 2, write the fraction as an improper fraction. And question 3, can you complete the whole models? But we're going to keep them as improper fractions. Pause the video to do this now. Ready for the answers? Let's go. Question 1, writing the fraction as an improper fraction, we need to look at how many parts each bar is split into, and they're 3. So we're going to have our denominator as 3. Now we need to look at how many parts there are. So I've got 4 thirds in total. I've got 4 out of 3, 4 out of my 6 coloured in, but they're in bars of 3. So I've got our second question. Write the fraction as an improper fraction. We've got 1 whole part, so that's worth 4. We've got the 2 whole parts, 1 in the middle, that gives us 8 and 9. So we've got, let me just mark it on. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that 9 is our numerator on top here. Each circle's been cut into 4 pieces. That gives us our denominator. Completing the part-whole models. So I said we wanted improper fractions at the top of the part-whole models. 5/5 and 3/5 added together gives me 8/5. So with this, If the denominators are the same, we leave them alone. We don't change them. We just add the numerators together. The same for our second question. We know we're working in sixths, so I'm not going to take 6 over 6 away from 11 over 6 to leave me with 5. So we're just looking at the numerator. So we do 11 take away 6, which will give us our answer. So we just look at the numerator. So 11 here and 6 here. And I've written the answer down instead of the question. So 11 take away 6, that gives us 5/6. So we'll go back to our halves. So we're working in our denominator of 2. So I've got my bars, I've split them into 2 parts. I've got 3 parts coloured total. So as we know, this is an improper fraction, and an improper fraction is where the numerator is greater than the denominator. So I've got 2 there, but I can also write this as 1. So it gives us a whole. And I've got 1/2 underneath. So our mixed number is 1 1/2. So a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. So if we're looking at this, I've got 2 1/4 in my part whole model. So our whole is 2 1/4. Now, showing this with the bars, we've drawn them out. I've got my bars, split them into 4s, and I needed 3 bars to get my number of parts to show you. So 2 1/4 is the same as, so we've got 2 whole bars coloured. Each bar's in 4s. So I've got 4 out of 4. So I've got 1 full bar at the top. I have another full bar. So it's 4 out of 4 again. So this is, we're looking at how we convert it into an improper fraction. And we've got 1 out of 4, 1/4 at the bottom. Now remember what I said earlier on. If the denominators are all the same, we don't need to change them. They don't have to be added together. We leave those alone. It's the numerators we're going to add together. We're looking at how many parts of 4 we've got. So our answer is 9/4. So if we look at the top bar, we've got 4, and we've got that shown in our calculation. Second bar, we've got 4, again shown in our calculation. Our third bar, we've only got 1. So as you can see, I've added my numerators, I've not added my denominators. Have a go at these ones. Can you convert the mixed number to an improper fraction? Just pause the video and have a go at this. Right, how do you think you got on with this one? Let's work through the answer together and you can check and see how you've got on as we go through. So I've got 1 full wheel of 8, 8/8. So that one comes to here. I need to add the next one on. So I've got another wheel full of 8. So I've got 2 lots of 8/8. That one is this one. I've got a third wheel. So that's my 3. So this 3 here is the same as all of this together. Okay, so it's just a different way of showing it. So I know I've got 3 full lots of 8/8. That's the same as my 3. I've also got my remainder at the end. I've got another 5/8 here. So that is this one here. So you can see how we can use drawing our problems out to help us solve them. Now what we need to do, we need to add them together. And remember, we don't touch the denominators unless they're different. In this case, they're not. They're all the same. So I'm only going to look at the numerators. I'm going to add my numerators together. I've got 29. So 8 add 8 gives me 16. Add 8 gives me 24. Add 5 gives me 29. And again, as I said, the denominator doesn't change. It stays the same. So this is something to be really careful of when you're working in mixed numbers. You don't change the denominator at all. because we're still working in blocks of 8 with groups of 8. So it's no good adding everything together and having 29 over 32, because that wouldn't be the right answer. Some questions for you to have a go at now. Pause the video here to have a go at these. For question 2, draw them out. Bar models will be your friend on this one. Pause now. How did we get on? I'll share the answers with you now. So question 1A, 2 3/4 is the same as 11/4. You're just counting up the parts that have been coloured in. Same for B, the same for C. So all you're making sure you're doing is that you're counting up the right number of parts. For question 2, you're converting it yourself. So you're going to draw out your bar models. Now you need to remember your denominator tells you how many parts the bar gets cut into. So if you look at our first one, we've cut the bar into 4, B it's cut into 3, C it's cut into 3, and D it's cut into 5. But they're all matched up with our denominator. And then it's just a question of drawing out, colouring in the right number of bars. And it's to remember that 4/4 is the same as 1. 3/3 is the same as 1. 5/5 is the same as 1. So where the numerator and the denominator are the same, they are equal to 1. They're equivalent to 1. So convert the mixed numbers to improper fractions. 5 1/6. So we'll draw it out. I've got 5 full bars there, and I've got my 6th at the bottom. So I've drawn out 5 bars, each divided into 6. So we'll label these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Each one is filled in, so that's my 5. So this 5 here is equivalent to these 5 full bars here. My 6th there is my bar at the bottom here. All I have to do now is count up the parts. So 5 lots of 6/6. So if we're multiplying a fraction by a whole number, this is not going to become 30 over 30. So we're talking about the same denominator. My denominator is going to stay the same. My numerator is what changes. So 5 times 6 gives me 36. We could take the time to count these out now that we've drawn them, but that's going to take us a long time. And certainly as we get to bigger numbers, it's going to become more difficult to do by drawing it out. So we've got 36. That's the same as 5 times 6/6. We've still got 1/6 left at the bottom here. So we need to add that in as well. So 36 plus 1/6 gives us the 31/6 that gives us our answer. So to convert the mixed number to an improper fraction, 5 1/6 is the same as 31/6. So 5 is the same or equivalent to 36. So 36 plus 1/6 gives us 31/6. Have a go at this yourself now. Convert the mixed numbers on the screen to improper fractions. Pause the video here to complete this. How did you get on? Let's have a go through the answers together. So 2 4/5. We've got 2 lots of 5 5/5. So we're going to multiply our numerator only. So we need to remember that a whole number is the same as the denominator and the numerator being the same. So it doesn't matter whether we're talking in tenths, hundredths, or thousandths. So long as the numerator and the denominator are the same, that will give you a whole number of 1. So we've got 2 lots here. So 2 times 5/5 gives us 10/5. So remember, we're only multiplying the numerator, not the denominator. And we've got 4/5 in our question already, so we need to add those in as well. And again, remembering we're only adding the numerators, not the denominators. The unit stays the same for the denominator, so we're constantly working in fifths. So it's 14 fifths. 10 and 5/6, well, it's 10 times 6/6. So again, remembering we multiply the numerator, not the denominator. So we end up with 66. We've got 5/6 we need to add on as well. So 66 plus 5/6 gives us 65/6. Some questions for you to have a go at now. Try these out, see how you get on. Pause here. How did you get on with these? Some of these might have been a little more complicated. Let's go through the answers. So converting the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So you're going to put the conversion next, so write the next conversion to each part. So we've got 2 and 1/7, 2 and 2/7, 2 and 3/7. The next step would be 2 and 4/7. You've got your answers there. Check these now. Question 4. There are 4 whole pizzas and 3/5 of a pizza. How many children can have 1/5 of a pizza? So we need to remember that each child's going to get 1 slice of pizza. So we need to work out how many slices of pizza there are. One way of doing this, we can just go through and count up the number in each one, or we can do 4 times 5/5 to give us 20/5, remembering our denominator we don't multiply, it's just the numerator. 20/5, we've got 3/5 of a pizza to add on, so I need to do 20/5 plus 3/5. And again, remembering when we're adding fractions, if the denominators are the same, we don't need to change anything. So we have 23/5 of pizza in total. So that means 23 children can have 1/5 of a pizza. Question 5. Whitney is converting mixed numbers to improper fractions. Do you agree with Whitney? Well, no, we don't agree with Whitney. What she's forgotten to do is add on the extra 7th at the end. She's done 4 times 7/7, so she's done the first step of 4 times 7/7, and she's done it correctly because she's remembered I don't need to change my denominator, it's just the numerator. So I've got 28/7. What she's forgotten to do is add the 1/7 that was left over in the question to give 29. So the answer should have been 29/7. Question 6. The table shows some possible values of the circle. Use this to find the corresponding value of the triangle. So we are just remembering that we're picking up the number of holes. We're making an improper fraction. So we're doing this backwards and forwards. We're actually converting from an improper fraction back to a mixed number, and from a mixed number to an improper fraction. So it's a bit of practice of what we've learned for the last 2 lessons. Well done today. You've worked really well. I look forward to seeing your work on Tapestry. And as always, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.